Okay, today we're diving into one of the wildest, most profound, and honestly most confusing stories in all of Zen history. It's a story that, on the surface, makes absolutely no sense. It involves a monk, his master, and a path to enlightenment that seems, well, pretty brutal.
And this is the question at the heart of it all. I mean, just imagine, you dedicate your life to a spiritual path, you finally work up the courage to ask the biggest question you can think of, and the response you get isn't wisdom, it's a whack from a wooden staff? What is going on there? And here's the kicker. It didn't just happen once. Nope, it happened 3 times. 3 sincere questions, 3 painful beatings. That number 3 is so important because it really tells you just how confused and desperate this poor monk must have been feeling. All right, so let's set the scene and meet our 2 main players. First, we have a young, incredibly dedicated monk named Linji. And then there's his teacher, the very intimidating Zen master Huangbo. Now, Linji is the perfect student, but he's got a problem he doesn't even know he has. So for 3 whole years, Linji does everything by the book. He is so perfect, in fact, that a senior monk even points him out. But see, that's the problem. He's stuck in this kind of passive learning mode. He's read all the texts, he follows all the rules, but he hasn't really, truly for himself, grappled with the heart of the teaching. So a senior monk encourages him, and Linji finally goes to Huangbo. He asks the biggest question there is. And before the words are barely out of his mouth, bam! Huangbo just strikes him. No words, no explanation. Confused, he's told to try again. So he does. And again, bam, he's beaten. A third time, you guessed it, same result. Just pure, unexplained physical shock. Now, seriously, put yourself in Linji's shoes for a second. You've done everything right, you've asked the most honest question you can, and all you get for it is pain and total confusion. It's really no wonder he just hit a wall. He's completely crushed. He just figures, well, I must be a failure, I'm in the wrong place, this whole thing is not for me. He decides the only option left is to pack it in and leave the monastery for good. But then, just as he's about to walk out, the story takes this incredible turn. When Linji says he's leaving, Master Huangbo doesn't just wave goodbye. He specifically tells him where to go next, to see another master named Dayu. And this is our first real clue that maybe, just maybe, this wasn't random cruelty. Maybe Huangbo is still teaching, but in a way Linji just can't see yet. So Linji hits the road. And you can just imagine him on this journey, his body aching and his mind just spinning on one single question. What on earth did I do wrong? This trip isn't just about covering miles. It's about him stewing in this feeling of absolute failure. So he arrives, he finds Master Dayu, and he just pours his heart out. He explains the whole confusing, painful story, probably expecting some sympathy. You know, an explanation, maybe. Instead, he gets this. Dayu doesn't comfort him. He flips the entire story on its head. He calls the beatings kindness, and basically tells Linji he's being blind. This is it. This is the moment that just breaks his brain open. Hearing the thing that caused him so much pain and confusion described as an act of deep compassion, well, it's the shock that's about to change everything. And this is the line that does it. I mean, the image is just so completely absurd. It's so opposite to what he experienced that it shatters his intellectual mind. Grandmotherly kindness from the guy who hit him with a stick? And in that instant, click, it all made sense. This wasn't a slow lesson learned over time. It was a sudden, explosive breakthrough, a moment of pure enlightenment. So what did he finally get? He realized Huangbo was never going to tell him the answer in words. The beatings were the answer. It was a compassionate, desperate act to get him to stop thinking so much, to stop looking for some neat little answer he could write down. It was a shock to the system, meant to wake him up from his own thoughts. And his first reaction is just brilliant. He laughs. He says this, but it's not disrespectful. It's this moment of pure joy, of realizing the deep, profound truth is actually incredibly simple. It's not some complicated idea you have to struggle to understand. He finally sees it. But the story is not over yet. The real proof, the final exam, is what happens when he goes back. He has to return and face the very man who beat him. And you have to understand, the man who walks back into that monastery is a completely different person. He's not the timid, confused student looking for answers anymore. He is now a master himself, and he's acting with this bold new freedom that's about to surprise everyone.
Even before he leaves, Dayu tests him. So what did you get? Speak! But Linji doesn't explain it with words. No, he just acts. He punches Dayu, the new master, 3 times, and Dayu gets it instantly. Linji is now speaking that same direct, nonverbal language as Huangbo. He tells him, go back to your real teacher.
So the final confrontation is just, wow. Linji walks back in, totally fearless. Huangbo is talking about how Dayu needs to be taught a lesson, and Linji just steps up and says, why wait? And then he slaps his own master, Huangbo, right across the face. It's this shocking but perfect act of complete understanding.
And how does Huangbo react to being slapped by his student? He is absolutely delighted. He calls him a madman, but it's the highest possible praise. It means Linji is no longer scared of the tiger. He hasn't just learned the lesson, he's embodied it. He's proven that he is now Huangbo's equal.
This was it. This was the graduation. By slapping his master, Linji showed that he understood the teaching isn't about power or respecting a person. It's about the direct transmission of truth. The student had become the lesson and was now ready to become a legend in his own right. So what this totally wild story is really about is the limit of our intellect. It's about how you can't always think your way to an answer. It's about those aha moments, those breakthroughs that don't come from a book, but from a direct and, sometimes even a shocking experience. And that kind of leaves us with this question to chew on. In our own lives, when we really want to understand something, or even someone, how much of that understanding can we get from reading and listening? And how much just has to come from jumping in and having the direct, messy, and sometimes even painful experience for ourselves?